Go live without my alter ego. Okay, YouTube is now live for whoever happens to show up for it. Getting close to showtime. Show done so I can get out and get more work done.
And I'll sit here and continue chipping away.
Mm-hmm.
I had a strange experience yesterday.
What's that?
An entire folder, everything in it just randomly vanished.
Did you find it again?
No,
Did you look in your trash
it's
bin?
one of the things I've been tackling. Yes, I've checked for viruses, malware. I've really been digging into stuff.
I said check your trash bin.
I did. I also made sure that there is no hidden files and checked for any issues in the drive. Like, it's something I've been working on since yesterday.
That's another one.
It's really frustrating because I had a lot of things in this folder that I need, but shortcuts are still there, but they don't work. It's like that one time with my computer when I was a teenager when I managed to finish a document, made a shortcut, and then there was nothing there. It's a really weird thing, and if this is the second time that this has happened to me, I've definitely got a drunken horseshoe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's definitely an oddball.
Mm.
Can't say I've ever encountered that. Usually if it disappears, I accidentally threw it in the trash.
Yeah, this isn't something I would have thrown in the trash, though.
No, but that's what happens. You can accidentally hit the right key combination when you're clicked on something. It'll cause it to be deleted.
Or when the cat walks on your keyboard. It's amazing what cats can do just by walking on your keyboard.
Mm-hmm. Cat only ever walked on my keyboard once.
My cat is usually really careful not to walk on my keyboard, but every once in a while he gets really excited about trying to get attention, and he's trying to step over my keyboard and ends up falling onto it. So I don't get angry at him for that. That's not on purpose.
Oh, I wouldn't even let the cats up on my desk because they always made a mess of things.
Yeah.
But if you're going to allow it to happen, well, expect bad shit to happen. It's going to occur. Let's see what we got. Fence is almost complete. Got
Cool.
a new roof, extended roof on the chicken coop yesterday.
Awesome. So no more flyaway chickens.
Well, hopefully. We'll see. It's already 28 degrees out right now.
Is it?
Yep.
Wow.
Hot.
It's only about 25 here.
Yeah, it'll be another hot day in the 30s.
Is it cloudy up there?
No, crystal clear.
It is so cloudy down here. Cloudy and kind of dark.
Yeah, it was crystal clear. At least it was when I came in here into the dungeon to work on the computer.
Yeah, we haven't had our skies clear up down here yet. We must be sucking in all of your clouds for you to give you the clear skies.
Oh, enjoy them.
You know, I'm actually kind of enjoying the cloudy sky right now. It was crazy warm yesterday.
Yeah, it was 36 degrees here.
I didn't remember to check the temperature yesterday. I just know that I felt like I was melting.
Mm-hmm.
Yay, melting.
Let's see where we got. Oh,
My, aren't we the talkative pair today?
not really. I'm tired. I haven't slept well the last couple of days.
Because of the heat?
No, the house is air conditioned. That's not the problem.
All right.
So it's not.
I don't think I've ever lived in an air-conditioned house before.
And I did something to my elbow. I have no idea what I've done to my elbow.
That sucks.
Pulled something. Having a tough time straightening it. Can bend it, to a certain point, but I can't straighten it. It's almost like what they call tennis elbow.
You've been using a hammer a lot?
Oh, a little bit.
That could be it. I managed to mess up my elbow when I was in welding because I had to hammer apart a bunch of metal. It only took 2 days for my elbow to get messed up. But if you're swinging a hammer, repetitive motion.
Yeah. Yeah, it could very well be. More ice and whatnot on. Okay. And we is getting close. Close to
Yay.
music time. Wind up for a show. Really, really big shoe. Gonna have a really, really big shoe.
A big shoe.
Yep, we got a really big shoe for you today. Let's see here. All right, it's music time. Let's go.
Don't claim to know your story, don't even have my own. In the search for glory, gone with them sacred rules of old. They went missing down Highway 49. Devil's at the crossroads, sitting doing time. Preacher man discovered, passed down from saint to sage, like a kind-hearted lover who's been lost on this stage. Went missing down Highway 49. Devil's at the crossroads, sitting doing time. Crossroads, sitting doing time. Junkie and the jigger, just seen who done the crime. Captain pulled the trigger, guess who's doing time? They went missing down Highway 49. Devil's at the crossroads, is he yours or is he mine?
is time. Let's get this show on the road. Off we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for WordPress plugins A to Z, not Z.
When you wish upon a WordPress plugin, it's episode 572, and we have plugins for no auto updates, wall, worker list, forming contacts, Bellhop, tarot reading, and ClassicPress options, all coming up on WordPress plugins from A to Z. WordPress. It's the most popular content management and website solution on the internet. And with over 80,000 plugins to choose from, how do you separate the junk from the gems? Join us for a weekly, unrehearsed conversation about the latest and greatest in WordPress plugins. This is WordPress plugins from A to Z. Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you happen to be hiding out there on the globe. Today, coming to you direct from the oasis deep in the heart of the Cowichan Valley, I am John Overall, and with me is the ever-lovely
Amber Overall.
And we have the usual great show for you today, so don't forget to, hang around for the end of the show for the Q&A segment with Amber and all the other great stuff we have. With all of that, I suppose I should just...
Thank you for sharing, John. Now get down from that soapbox.
Your soapbox doesn't really take all that long anymore.
No, I've pretty much eliminated Shortbox, but I like that jingle. It's just so cool.
I love it. So this is episode number 31 for 2022. Getting close to the magical number 33, so that's always fun. Hopefully everyone out there has had an opportunity to get the sunshine, because winter's going to be here sooner than you think. It always ends up showing up randomly. None of us really expect it because it's too hot for way too long. And then all of a sudden you wake up and it's cold. You need extra thick socks. So make sure you get the sunshine while it's still around. And don't forget to take some time off of all the devices. I mean, they're great distraction noodles, but they can melt your brain too. Taking breaks away from them is always a good thing. Remember, too much of anything is not good for you.
Absolutely.
On to the news.
Please, can everybody be quiet? Please be quiet. Shut up! Thank you. And now the WordPress news with John
Amber.
Overall.
So the first one I have here is the iThemes WordPress vulnerability report. So I realized that last week I didn't even remember to bring this. Sorry about that. If you want to go and check out the show notes, I do have the link for last week's vulnerability report too. There is only one plugin listed with severe vulnerability, linking it to WordPress core vulnerability. That is simple single sign-on. Please be sure to look the information over in this link. It's always good to know what's going on. They have a list of plugins here that they're all connected to WordPress vulnerabilities very specifically, and that's all they talked about. But most of them have been fixed. Just the one that's an issue, simple single sign-on. Next up, from Bleep Computers, new mail breach exposed DigitalOcean customer email addresses. So I've noticed that a lot of people tend to use MailChimp, and this is a good thing to know, especially if you or your client uses DigitalOcean. Not all of the emails were breached, but there is a small number receiving unauthorized password resets. It was first learned about August 10th. It has been dealt with, though you may still want to double check, make sure your sites are updated, and if you are with DigitalOcean, maybe think about changing your password. Just double check, make sure you're all good.
Yep.
And next we have Newsletter Glue closes free plugin on WordPress.org. So Newsletter Glue creators have removed their free plugin from WordPress.org in favor of focusing on the commercial version. There was a warning issued out to users about 5 months ago that they would be closing the free version and no longer updating as of May 1st. However, the process was delayed till August 15th. The reason for this delay was that they had set up the plugin so that when a customer upgraded to the pro version, the free version was automatically uninstalled and the paid version installed and activated. This caused them some issues, so they had to spend some time working through it, but as of May 1st, they will officially no longer be updating. The free version is leaving.
Okay.
It's a little slow for the WordPress specifically this week.
Yeah.
Next, we have WooCommerce to stop registering customer options in upcoming 6.9 release, meaning that they are making a move towards removing the customizer menu entirely from admin for those who are using a blog theme. This is in an effort to clean up the admin and eliminate confusion. Version 6.9 is expected to release in September 2022.
Yeah, well,
Oh.
that sounds like a good thing to me, getting rid of the customizer stuff. I never really liked using the WordPress customizer.
I don't think I've really tried it. If I need to customize something, I kind of dive into CSS or something else.
Yeah, well, that's definitely one way to deal with it.
Next, we have the new 2023 default theme is now in development. The development team seems to be hard at work creating the new version where they will be bundling together a curated set of style variations rather than creating a new theme from scratch. It appears the community likes this idea, so the plans are now underway to create a stripped back version of 2022 as the base of the new theme. I'm actually quite interested in seeing how this turns out.
See if it's actually usable versus 2022 theme.
Yeah.
I tried to do some stuff with the 2022 theme, and I went, yeah, no, this ain't working for me.
I'm actually looking back to this stripped back version. Hopefully it'll turn out really well and they'll stick to this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'd be nice.
And next we have Organized WP has been relaunched with old school software pricing model. This could be fantastic. What this plugin does is organizes content in the admin with a single unified view and UI for streamlining common actions. It's a utility plugin, and if this is something that sounds useful to you, worth checking out.
What is this old school pricing model they're talking about?
Apparently, the creator of the plugin had kind of abandoned it, is my understanding. And what he's done is he has revamped it and relaunched it, but still in the original style. And he hasn't changed the prices.
Oh.
So
okay.
it's why they're saying old school software pricing model. He hasn't changed the prices. He hasn't upped anything. It's just fixed. So it works better with everything today.
Okay. That doesn't make any sense, but we'll go with it.
Like I said, WordPress news is a little slow this week. And then we have the last one for today, which is a fun thing that I brought. A beginner's guide to AI apocalypse, the democratization of expertise. I thought this was a really interesting take on the AI apocalypse. What they're talking about is the friendly chatbots getting to the point where they imitate humans to so well that they'll be able to convince humans that what they are saying makes sense, far surpassing our own ability to detect doo-doo. Democratization, I can think the word, saying it is a different matter. Of expertise is what happens when everyone believes they're an expert. And if all the chatbots think they're an expert, and they manage to surpass people, it's going to be quite the apocalypse. I found this article to be a very interesting take on the AI apocalypse.
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know. AI is going to take us all over, and it's going to decide, humans are irrelevant.
Maybe they'll keep us like pets.
Yeah. Keep a few around so they can keep the networks going.
Exactly. And then we have the extras. The extras are worth checking out today. We've got information on Discord malware issues and some Apple security updates. It's a very interesting lineup of extras today. So be sure to check them out in the show notes.
Alrighty then. Let's go thank some people.
It's time to donate to WP Plugins A to Z.
So remember, this is your show. We are just the worker bees here. Don't forget to restock the show's larders with some time, treasure, or talent donations. Need more information on how to do that? You can check out our site, WPPlugins.com, and right up in the menu, you'll see each one under donations. Right there in the menu, time, treasure, or talent donations. This week's show art is by Greg's Graphics. It's pretty awesome. I love the way it looks. I think it's just awesome. I really, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Many wishes.
really quite cool.
Kind of makes me think of that book of The Little Prince. Kind of cool.
Yeah.
So, thank you, Greg. I don't know where we would be without you. You've kept our show art going. If anybody out there is interested in donating some show to the show, you can find that at wppluginsaToZ.com/artwork. You can also check out all the artwork that we've been collecting over the years at wppluginsaToZ.com/showartsubmitted.
Yeah, there's a lot of really cool pieces of art in there.
So many cool pieces.
Yeah.
And it's not all Greg. There are other people too. It's just Greg is our main provider.
Well, he's been the provider now for about 4 or 5 months. The other artists got burned out or something else came up in their lives. Which is what happens when people are doing volunteer work. You usually end up burning out people.
Unfortunately.
And that's just the way it works. But hopefully, sooner or later we'll get artists again and have a new slew of art to choose from.
That would be awesome.
It's come and gone. But yeah, thanks a lot, Greg. We really greatly appreciate it.
So in the show so far, we've had the backroom producers and the executive producers, but a special announcement for this week. I realized that there's another kind of producer out there, and we've been neglecting to thank them. I'm going to refer to them as freelance producers, popping in and out. They're always showing up at unexpected times, but these producers are pretty sure they're part of the reason why our name is getting out there. So thank you, freelance producers. Backroom producers hanging out in the lounge, always about the place, consuming all the coffee and donuts. These producers earn it by helping out with our contests, artwork, site organization, notes, questions, suggestions, licenses, and by hiring us. Your time and talent donations are equal to your treasure donations of under $50, and we would not be here without you, so thank you. And then the executive producers, I think we should just call them the War Room producers, because these are the producers that come in with donations of $50 or more. And there are a few extra perks that can be earned when you become a War Room producer. You can get an official A to Z handle of your choice, a spotlight in that week's show for a short speech, an official executive producership credit, and you get to see the magic as it happens in the War Room before we send the show out into the netherworld of the internets. Thank you for sticking by us and helping to keep the backroom producers stocked in coffee and donuts. You can find out more information if you go to the show notes. There is better explanation on everything.
Absolutely. Alrighty. I guess it's time to dive into the depths of plugin depravity. All right, this is where we talk about things such as ClassicPress and WordPress plugins. As far as I know, unless I'm to be corrected, there's nothing new on ClassicPress front this week.
No, there's nothing this week, but everyone can always go and check out the show notes. We leave the links in for a couple weeks for ClassicPress.
Yep. All right, then let's get into the WordPress plugins and what I have. First off this week, the first one I've got for you here is disable all automatic updates and theme editors. Now, why would you want to do that? Well, trust me, automatic updates are a double-edged sword that do good things and bad things for you. And this is a plugin to make that disabling a simple task. You just plug it in turn it on, go make your settings so it can disable major minor updates, disable the auto updates of plugins, disable default plugin editor, the theme editor, and it allows you to disable the Gutenberg editor on posts and pages, and the Gutenberg editor in your widgets. So that gives it props just for that alone. But other than that, it's really cool, and there's reasons why you'd want to disable the plugin and theme editors too, because if you're the one doing it, maybe not. But if you got clients to go in there and they get in there, they can get in there and edit and break something really easily by clicking on the editor. So
Yeah.
on the whole, really great plugin, one to go check out. It's to disable all automatic updates and theme editors, and I give it a 4 dragon rating.
That sounds amazingly helpful.
Yeah.
First one I have today is Contact Form by WPForms, drag and drop form builder for WordPress. So I wasn't really too sure about trying these guys out at first. They tend to charge a lot for Pro, and they tend to sell each super useful edition separately, I've found. However, I must admit that trying these guys out, I actually kind of like them. I found that WP Forms was a bit easier to understand than Gravity Forms, and the tutorials were easier to follow, and the tools I found to be easier to use. For instance, personalizing in Gravity Forms, you don't have to go digging in order to find what to add things to personalize, like I often have found myself having to do for Gravity Forms. There is a free version, and it's great if you're simply looking for the basics, such as sign in, sign up, and newsletter. The forms that a lot of sites need at first to help get themselves going. If you're looking for more, though, the Pro version does have additions they will sell you that will do things like work as a sign-up form for the events calendar or as a front-end submission form for the events calendar. WP Forms has a lot of integration possibilities and loads of personalization options. Working the CSS is easy, and building the forms themselves is drag and drop, just like Gravity Forms. I don't, however, agree with their pricing. Despite the praises I have just sung, I personally think they charge too much, and I think it's a little underhanded to sell so many additions you need in order to make things work together separately. It's kind of like selling you the knife and handle separately for your kitchen. It's how I feel about it.
Yeah.
I rate this at 4 dragons.
Yeah, well, still pretty cool, I suppose. I've never used WP Forms, but things change. All right, the next one I have for you here is simply called Wall. It's a lightweight, easy-to-use plugin that allows your site to be visible only to logged-in users. Basically, it privatizes your website. You go set it up, activate it, and they hit a landing page that redirects them to the login page when they try to land into your website. It's a nice little privatization plugin for, basically hiding your site. How's it useful? Well, maybe you're building a family website and you only want family to come into it, or maybe you've got your own test website and you want to test stuff but not have it publicly available. Lots of great ways to use this plugin. At any rate, I thought it was one people might want to know about. Maybe they could use it. It's The Wall. It should say The Wall instead of Wall. I want to call it The Wall, but no, it's just Wall. And I give it a 4 dragon rating. So go check it out.
So it's kind of like a giant virtual fence.
Yep, pretty much.
Next one I have is Bellhop. This is a plugin for adding a Contact Us floaty button menu at the bottom of your site. Once activated, you will find the settings for this plugin on the left-hand menu under Bellhop. You can set either phone or email for contact, or you can set them both. And once you save the settings, there will be a little picture of a bell on your site in the lower right-hand corner. If you click on this bell, it opens to show a phone. The color is green. That doesn't change. Kind of makes me think of those old mints. I like this because it's really easy to use, lightweight, and useful. However, when one clicks on the little phone in the menu, it wants to take you to Telelink, a site that you can make phone calls through. You have the option to choose a different program, but if the person is just looking for the phone number, maybe I think it could be more useful if it just showed the phone number. I was thinking about it, and I believe that when they created this, they were more so thinking about people who tend to check sites on their cell phone rather than people who check sites on their PC. Because I checked it out on my cell phone, and if you hit the little phone, it'll take you right into your call thing, and all you have to do is hit dial, and you can call the number.
Oh,
So, yeah, it works really well for like phones, but not great for computers.
yeah. Well, I used to use a older plugin for doing that sort of thing. So
Yeah?
well, and it was designed for telephones because they realized that probably still 50% or more traffic now comes from mobile devices. And a lot of time when people looking up websites on their phone, they're looking up information, contact information. And if they can just click a button to make a phone call, they will, because humans are inherently lazy.
That's why we have all these awesome gadgets.
That's why we have all these awesome gadgets that have turned us into people who spend a lot of time sitting around.
Well, I do like this. I just think it would be great to have the option of, making it more PC friendly. I rate this at 4 dragons.
Very cool. All right, the final one I have for you today is Employee List. It is a simple plugin to create a simple employee list on your website. Now, this employee list, you could do that. Some companies like to list up their employees for public consumption. A lot of companies have an employee section for their private section on their website for their employees, so they can go look up fellow employees and know how to get hold of them when they need to. At any rate, this was a nice simple one. It uses a custom post type. It will automatically show all the employees. You can add an image and your own custom taxonomies and a bit more to it. All in all, a useful one, and one to help you build out your employee lists. I thought people might want to know about it. Check it out. It is the Employee List, and I give it a 4 dragon rating.
Nice. The last one I have for today is Tarot Online. I was really hoping for something awesome with this plugin.
Yeah.
It's explained as a free tarot reading displayed anywhere in your site with a shortcode. Activate the plugin and add the shortcode. I did that, and the first issue I realized is that although it has English translation, it shows up as, I think it was German? I'm not sure. Then, once I put in a question and hit enter, it took me to a completely different site where you can enter in your question again for a free tarot reading and pay money for more information. I mean, I suppose this could be good, though personally I feel this was kind of falsely advertised. The creator mentions start earning money with Tarot Online affiliate program, though they do not mention that there is no actual free tarot reading on your site itself, that this plugin doesn't actually create anything, it's a link. Honestly, I was really disappointed. The last tarot plugin was abandoned. Last tarot plugin made was abandoned, and it has completely broken down. Hopefully someone out there will create a tarot reading plugin for people's site rather than a completely different site. Plugins that are just a link, not all that great, in my opinion. I rate this at 1 dragon.
I can see that. Big time bait and switch. That's kind of weaselly, backhanded, and sneaky.
Yep.
Well, it's interesting, though, is I actually have a tarot plugin that I started writing it years ago, and it's half completed, but semi-functional on a very old website of mine. And it's still there, and it still works. And it does...
Well, get to it, finish it up so we can use it.
Yeah, well, I've been wanting to. It was back in the days when I was actually writing code. Before I went on to different things, and I started to convert. What happened was I have it's an old freeware program written in Java, or not Java, is it Java? Yeah, I think it was written in Java, written with Java. And I wanted it to work in WordPress. And so I had to turn it into a plugin, so I sort of shoehorned it together, and it does work, and it does actually use a tarot deck and gives you an actual tarot reading on the website.
Cool.
I think the website is thornandoak.com.
I remember when you were working on that site.
Yeah, Thorn and Oak still has a whole lot of stuff on it. And it's still live. And it's probably still running WordPress 3.8.
Cool.
I can't update it because it'll break everything.
Oh, yeah. It'll be shattered into tiny little pieces.
It's enough that when it had this really cool header that I created in, what was that, Adobe Flash. I created an Adobe Flash header. You can't see the header anymore because Flash no longer works. They killed Flash.
Aw.
But it was such an awesome header. I spent hours creating that header with little spinny things and sparkly bits and all kinds of cool flashy stuff, all that stuff from the early 2000s.
The
Anyway.
perfect distraction.
It's a great website. It's got lots of interesting info on it. But yeah, it has a online tarot reading that can still be done.
Nice.
All right. Well, enough of all that. I think we need to go talk about our things we covered so we can get into the Q&A segment. Plugins I covered
All right.
up in this show was disable all automatic updates and theme editors, which I gave a 4 to. Wall, which I gave a 4 to. Employee list, which I gave a 4 to.
And I covered Contact Form by WPForms, Drag and Drop Form Builder for WordPress, which I rated at 4, Bellhop, which I rated at 4, and Tarot Online, which I rated at 1. You know, I just realized that we both ended up having a really long name,
Yep.
a one-word name, and then a two-word name.
Yep.
That's kind of cool.
Long, short, medium. All right. A couple other quick reminders. There is a meetup plan for September 10th, 3 p.m. at the Oasis. Make sure you RSVP if you want to join us for it. You can RSVP over at theroguestavern.com. And there's a link in the show notes take you directly to the event to register. And if you want to be interviewed, reach out to me, WPPlugins, A2Z.com/interview. I'm still offering those up. And if you have suggestions on plugins you want to be reviewed, please submit them to WPPlugins, A2Z.com/submit plugin review. Alrighty. I think it is time once again.
It's question and answer time.
Good, Amber.
So before I get started, if anybody out there has any questions they'd like to have asked here on the show, send them in to me at amber@wppro.ca, and we'll see if we can stump my dad. You can find our emails in the show notes. Question 1. Is there a way to tell beforehand if a plugin is likely going to disappoint? For example, the Tarot Online plugin I reviewed earlier.
Sometimes. I actually looked at that one to review it, and I read their description, and their description seemed kind of weaselly. And I followed the quick link to their website, and it took forever to load. And I went, yeah, there's a problem with this one. And I just skipped it. I read the descriptions. It's really hard for them to, when they're being weaselly, it's really hard for them to write their descriptions so the weasel doesn't come out.
Okay.
Every once in a while I get fooled, but most of the time I catch something that just doesn't seem right. So it's not always possible. I mean, it's so hard to tell with plugins, especially nowadays. It's like one of the problems I've had lately when researching the plugins is that the new ones, there's nothing really new. You know, it's a reworking of someone else's idea on how to do something else. And then when I find what looks like a really cool plugin, turns out the author abandoned it 5 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, okay, well, I don't want to review that one because it may or may not work. You know, sometimes I'll bring an old plugin, but nowadays not. I miss the early days of this show when everything was new and there was always something cool, and there were actually developers that wrote cool plugins. I haven't seen a new cool plugin in a very long time.
Yeah, there's really no fun plugins anymore either. All of the really fun and entertaining plugins, they're all between 5 and 9 years out of date.
Yeah, well, those were the younger programmers. It was kind of like a lot of them are from, you know, even in the days when I first started, I was more into doing it, like writing my own tarot plugin. But then, life gets in the way. You got to make this, that, and the new kids coming up, they're just so serious about everything.
Yeah. Where's the prankster ones, man?
Yeah.
We gotta have prankster ones at least for April Fools.
Yeah. They don't put as many out there as they used to.
All right, next question. What do plugins linking to sites do exactly? Like, why are they created?
What do you mean by plugins linking to sites?
Well, like the Tarot Online one.
Oh.
They gave you a short code, and all it does is you use that plugin, and it just links you to the site. Like, what do they get out of that? Is that just linking back to their site?
It's money.
Money.
Money, because it links back to their site. And once you get people on your website, if you got your marketing all up, you can try to sell them whatever you're selling.
Okay.
Much like you said, they take you to the site, you got to re-enter your question. They want you to pay for an online reading.
Okay, so that's really all they get out of it then.
That's all they get. They get more money. They get paid for all this. I don't begrudge them doing this. What I begrudge is the underhanded way in which they do it.
Yeah.
It's like
If they were straight up about it,
Yeah.
I'd be more inclined to give them a 4.
Yeah, well, that's the whole thing. It's they got to be straight up, and I've seen a lot of that over the years. They do something. It's like you guys got something that could be really cool here, but you're using a weaselly backhanded way to do it. Why not just come out and say what you want done? And of course, then that aspect, they go, well, maybe not as many people would do it. Well, that might be true, but what will happen is you got people do this, they'll find out what you're doing, and then they'll badmouth you. Mm-hmm. And that's even worse, because you end up with a crap reputation as a sneaky, underhanded way of doing things. So yeah, there's an awful lot of plugins that are doing that now, way more than I ever remember doing that. I mean, back in the middle days of WordPress, when this sort of thing, a lot of the companies did these things, but they told you what they were up to.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense. If they tell you what they're up to, then you have the option to weigh the pros and cons. And I've found myself, like, I really don't like having to sign up for an account on their website in order to get the key, to get the plugin working, all that. But because they tell me straight up, I'm more inclined to go ahead and just sign up because I already know it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And I'm interested in the plugin itself. So you be straight up, you're more likely to get people who are just like, okay, I'll do that just because I like the plugin.
Yeah. But using the sneaky method, it's going to backfire eventually. I mean, initially it's
always does.
It's kind of like what's the word I'm looking for? The Weasley person who, they get a lot of money really quick, but then they don't have enough money to sustain themselves because they get such a bad reputation, everyone avoids them. So.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
I have 2 more questions, so I'll read them both out to you.
Okay.
What is the most expensive plugin you've come across, and do you think the price was worth it? And what makes a good plugin in your opinion?
Well, very good. And we will cover those after the closing of the regular show. So for those of you listening to download on the podcast, go check out the YouTube version to hear the answers to those questions. So let's let our girl take us on out.
Reminders for the show. All show notes can be found at wppluginsaToZ.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the newsletter for more useful information delivered directly to your inbox. WP Plugins A to Z is a show that offers honest and unbiased reviews of plugins created by developers because you support the show. Help keep the show honest and unbiased by going to wppluginsaToZ.com/donate and set the donation level that fits your budget. Help us make the show better for you by subscribing and reviewing the show at Stitcher Radio, Google Play, and in the iTunes Store. You can also leave us a review on our Facebook page using wppluginsaToZ.com/Facebook. You can also watch the show live on YouTube, check out the screencasts and training videos, and remember to subscribe and hit the bell to get notifications of all new videos. Follow the show on Twitter at WP Plugins A to Z. John can also be reached at his website, johnoverall.com, or email him directly, john@wppro.ca. Thanks for joining us and have a great day.
Thanks for listening to the show. This show is copyright by johnoverall.com. So until next time, have yourselves a good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you happen to be out there on the globe today. Alrighty, let's say this. What is the most expensive plugin you've come across, and do you think the price is worth it? I can't remember the name of the plugin. There's been a couple.
You remember the price and whether or not it was worth it?
Oh, it was worth it. It was like $200 and some odd. And then $100 a year. Actually, well, I got one that I use right now that costs me a couple $100 a year, the events calendar.
Ah.
I think I pay a grand total of $300 a year for that plugin and the add-ons I have to it. So it's a pretty pricey plugin. And for the most part, it's worth it. Occasionally, not so much. But on the whole, it's worth it. It's like there are some seriously expensive plugins out there. Usually, they're well worth it because they make so much. They make enough money to support the plugin properly, and to bring forth the add-ons to it that it needs, or the improvements that the plugin needs over time. Because plugins always need more improvement to them. So yeah, I think the most I've paid is around $300 for a plugin, and it was worth it. It was something that solved the problem I needed solved, and nothing else would do it unless I decided to really try to write code, and that's the big thing.
Which could either make or break what you're working on.
Yeah. So yeah, there are plugins that are pricey that are worth it, but the biggest thing is when you run into one that's so pricey, if they don't have a free version that you can get testing on, you're running a risk.
Yeah.
Even though most of them nowadays give you a 30-day money back guarantee, but the problem is there's times where you'll be doing something and you won't finish it in 30 days. So you won't even know if you've got everything working the way you want it to in those first 30 days. So
I have noticed that a lot of the plugins that don't have a free version do have a model that you can play around with on a site somewhere.
yeah.
And I think that's really useful. I'm not sure if that's been regular practice for a long period of time, but I've been finding it very useful for the plugins that don't have the free version.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, well, that's good too, is if they have a demo site set up.
Demo, that's the word I was trying to remember.
Yeah, if they have a demo site set up and you can go test it on that demo site, yeah, that's even, because then you get to find out exactly how it functions. A lot of the pricier plugins will do that because they don't want to give out free versions of it, but they need people to know it's going to do the task they want done.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the final one. What makes a good plugin in your opinion? I don't really understand the question.
Well, what is it about a plugin that you deem, say, 5 stars? What is it about that five dragons? What is it about that plugin that
gets it 5?
makes it a good plugin?
Well, it provides all the answers I needed, all of the function I needed for the particular task I was looking at it for. It's not lacking in anything. It's not trying to further upsell me. It's like it became a policy of this show about 5 years or more ago that any plugin that was free and did almost everything, but then had a premium version. The free version was capped at 4. because it's got all the extra stuff that you really need to do it. So it would have to get to the 5, you had to pay for it. And of course, I wasn't testing the premium version, so the free version got capped. You'll notice if you go through the history of 5s I've given throughout the website, it was always because there was something really special about the plugin. It performed above and beyond. Even when
Like a few plugins that I've reviewed where they had a premium version, but you didn't even need it because they gave you more than you needed in the free version.
Yeah, well, in that case, there can be minor exceptions to it. Even those, I would probably still cap at a 4, just because they still have a premium version, which probably got even better stuff in it. So, but you can make a case that that it's worthy of a 5. When it's providing above and beyond in the free version.
I've been finding as I go along that one of the things that I consider when I'm looking at a plugin, trying to understand it, is how easily I can access their tutorials that explain all the nuances of the plugin. Because I've come across plugins where you can't actually access their tutorials on how to use this plugin unless you have an account or unless you have a pro version. That really bothers me. I don't like that at all. I think that if you have tutorials, you should have the tutorials available to anyone, because that way the people who are trying to learn exactly what they need to about your plugin before they buy it really can.
Yeah, well, I don't understand why they would hide their tutorials unless you pay for the plugin. I don't recall ever running into that. If they've got the tutorials available for when you buy the plugin, they're there for anyone to review before they buy a plugin.
I've run into it a couple of times now where in order to view the tutorials, I had to create an account. And one time I came across a plugin where I had to create an account, and then I only had access to some of the tutorials. In order to get access to the rest of the tutorials, I had to get the pro version. It was weird.
That is weird and pretty foolish on their part, I think.
Yeah. But that is something that I've noticed a couple of times, where you have to create an account or you have to do this or that in order to get access to the tutorials.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a good idea, and hopefully it doesn't become a trend.
If it becomes a trend, I'm certain they'll start to see a drop in sales.
Good. Well, that is all of the questions.
All right, well, that's it. That's all we've got for you, folks. I think we will call it at that and say goodbye. A little bit of music to carry us on out of here.
These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. A quarter after midnight, and I'm watching the wall. Sometimes I feel so uptight, I just can't sleep at all. Every day doing the same old thing, we're losing time. The weekend comes, we gotta have some fun and rewind. These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. I feel the rope tightening, choking off our air. We need to grab some lightning. Friday's almost here. Caught in a web, we need to cut this thread we're hanging by. Where is it said you have to be half dead to survive? These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We
Alrighty, that's all we've got for you now. Take care. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Atlas Shrugged by Ayn Rand.